hot first act that we have. The wild card into game one. Now we have 4 games left here. An unbelievable start here. I am Sancho S alongside Sundown, bringing you all the action. We've been calling it all throughout the entire month of October for the EU region. And now we're here to figure out who is going to be number 1. We went from, let's see who's top 15. Let's see who's top 8. Let's see who's top 6. Now all that doesn't matter because it's all about number 1.
Yeah, still money on the line for the other spots, but they all want to walk away with that Axe of Champions, the number 1 spot in the over $100,000 for the European first place prize. We're going to hop on board here with Wolfies. If you're a little unfamiliar with this area, they're doing a scavenger or a split route drop on the southern side of the map. This specific area on the map is called Plumberton, and the reason why you'll see it so generally focused is there's a ton of fishing spots in the area. This is about 800 metal, so 2 people can max out on their metal if one person opts to just farm all the way through. And on top of that, there's also a Quinjet spawn down here. So while it looks like it's like, wow, why would this such a strong trio be dropping in this area of the map? It's very frequently completely uncontested, and you have tons of room to be able to just get there and get as much loot. And you can see there, they actually have a decent amount of real estate in Slurpy Swamp as well.
And this Kinzel Wolfies CR got the victory royale. They're sitting currently at 2nd place. First place is Anas Flick and Thomas HD. They had an unbelievable performance with 12 eliminations. No victory royale. And I gotta say, though, yes, they came in 2nd place, but I gotta say, though, a big factor in it, I guess a third factor in that entire round was Old Man Mountain. That mountain took out so many of our competitors, and it allowed Kinzel and Flick, who were basically neighbors. Kinzel was down below in the lower flat, so to speak, and up above them was Flick, Anas, and Thomas AC, and they had all the utility. But what was really cool was when push comes to shove, and Kinzel, Wolfies, and CRR had to go all the way down into the retail side of Retail Row, they were able to box fight their way and get the utility to overtake height.
So interesting. We're actually seeing Vadil Frostroki opting to do the drop we saw in game number 12 yesterday, where they landed a little bit north of Steamy Stacks and tried to come in with whatever loot they could. However, Andretta, Flois, and Luis, our current 10th place trio, more than ready for that, getting a huge knock right off the bat onto Frostroki. Vadil also got forced out, and you can see just the plethora of fishing spots down over there and why that area is so plentiful if you're able to kind of get down there and get a harpoon or get a fishing rod quickly. But the hunt is on right now. I mean, Andretta, Luis, and Flois smell blood in the water. They're going to try and execute and close this one out, because when you're on one of these scavenger routes, if you do get jumped on early, you have no resources, man. It is so hard. Kylie gets destroyed. Shakedown coming out there trying to show where Vadil is at, but rough game plan now from this co.
And we're seeing what's happening here, the waves of the butterfly effect of trios changing their spot because of the respect or the conditioning that other trios. Vadil had that free in his heats. That's why he was able to come into the top 2 and heat 1. But now you have Flois' trio there sitting there, and they get pushed out to a scavenger route. And that is where you're going to have to figure out on the fly. There's literally not any moment to breathe to change your game plan. Yes, you have an overnight sleep to kind of figure it out, but the deal already, we've seen him in 2 different spots. There and contesting Benji's trio at Doom's Domain. And so far, that hot team coming into the grand finals has gotten cold so quickly. And actually, Savage goes cold a little bit, and now it's up to Benji to get the dual media single trio right there. Benji's going to have to step up, and Lechi's going to have to step up, and revenge Savage is going down and out.
Yeah, so a different trio coming over and contesting. You can see dual media. DKS trying to get over there, was able to pick up one, but then Benji wins that kind of 50-50 AR fight right afterward. A couple key headshots being the difference maker there, but the full dual media trio did finish 2nd in their heat yesterday. And now looking to try and get a little bit of a fight here. We didn't see them necessarily off-spawn in that first match, but Benji was able to grab Savage's card, and now you see Shockwave immediately going over, going to prioritize getting the man-up advantage while the dual media group has now taken control of the vault area. So they're going to try and re-execute a 3v2 take on the vault, and the question is, can Benji, Lechi, and Savage get out with this heist and get out cleanly?
The question is as well, is I think Benji, Savage, and Lechi want this. They want to be contested. They struggled so hard in their heats looking for those valuable storm tags, and they suffered a lot in their opening game in heats because they didn't know how to solve it. But this is more of what they practice. They expect to be contested. They were contested throughout the qualifiers. They're probably contested throughout their scrims and practices. So this is what they want. They want to have these early fights, but I know what they don't want is someone sitting on the vault. That vault has so much ability to kind of expenses. But like I said, they practice this. They know everything you're going to do as well. The question is, can the dual media trio kind of solve this issue? Benji's trio coming in at 9th place at the moment with 13 points. They got about 5 eliminations in that first match.
And they just pulled a nice little trade places. You can see there in the bottom right-hand corner, the almost, I think that's brown. I apologize. I'm a little bit colorblind there. Brownish pink or whatever. The separate color there. Tried to go back and go over to the reboot van. I'm assuming they were able to grab the card and try and make it into a 3v3, but not quite able to execute on that, as now Benji, Savage, and Lecce are able to rotate over, get some pressure onto one of them, find the AR shots to crack the shields, and it seems like, yep, pings are coming out right away. They want this fight bad.
And here it is. These early engagements are kind of settling in Lecce, Benji, Savage, kind of shaking off that slow start they had during heats. And we kind of mentioned that. It's like Benji, Savage, Lecce, they've been struggling qualifiers, crunching the heats, but everybody's like, no, calm down. Everyone be cool. It is in grand finals, and Lecce is kind of push in, being that ultimate pressure, trying to go in, box dive. We mentioned how Lecce is no fear when it comes to box diving, and they have the expensive shockwave. That dual media trio does not want any part of this business. They're trying to get a moment to breathe, but Lecce, Savage, and Benji, they know this. They're not going to give that, Lecce's in trouble now. He's going to have to retreat for a brief moment as he eats a big shotgun blast.
And this is what we talked about in the fights. Yeah, they got the first elim, but never really got control of the vault. Lecce has next to no materials. You know, Savage was rebooted, so he only had the gray pistol plus whatever wood, and he was able to find off of the body. Like, no excess utility now, no shields. You don't leave a mythic POI like this. It's not, there's no point in dropping here if this is what consistently you're going to leave with and not get the points. They're going to hear that secret passageway, take them out, and then likely they're going to hang out on the opposite side, which kind of limits the options of the now dual media duo. As we're going to hop back on board here with our match number 1 winners, Wolfies, CRR, and Kinzel coming out of the Plumberton, a little bit of a southern rotation, hitting as many of the shields area. And the best part too about rotating out of there is there's generally enough slurp canisters in slurpy swamps, or if you just want to hang out in the swamp itself, you never have to burn any of the shields you find. Generally all of those are going to be safe and tucked straight in their inventory, and you know, a couple shots come out for them, they see the next zone reveal, and they're immediately going to turn around, and looks like they're trying to see where those shots came from actually.
Oh no, I think that trio who was looking just for innocent storm tags is just poked the bear in this region, and the bear is about to attack. They always question what will win, a gorilla versus a bear. I know Nick Merckx always wants to know that answer, but it looks like the bear of the region here is going to show its claws and its fangs and go on for a big old bite. And here it is. This engagement is just one innocent shot, Sundown, and this trio. I was about to say, hey, Kinzel being a DreamHack champion, knowing that's a very placement heavy format, could go ahead and knows exactly what the rotations and all the dead side rotations, he can kind of slow down Wolfies and CRR, but nope, oh my goodness, sniped in the back, and that is why the danger is of just trying to be so alpha and push every single person that aggresses you.
This is an awful decision. This is a straight up horrible decision by this group right now. As soon as that edge of zone comes out and you already know you're pulling the edge of zone, don't head east to that white line. He's going to end up paying for it. You can see the initial shots there. You know there's going to be more people coming through, and that snipe is the only thing that's going to be able to prevent you. And another little slip in the teamwork there as Wolfies doubled back and wasn't holding the wall for Kinzel as he tried to stick the revive. Kinzel now being burned through the entirety of his shield, and white tags are going to come through, which signals the push from Smudge and his team. You can see Wixie and Perculino, who were able to just barely squeeze in the 8th place spot in their heats. They said, no sweat, we got the ticket, that's all we needed. And you heard the crash pads come out, but no eliminations coming through yet.
Wixie and the trio are in 28th place, looking for the first points here in the grand finals. This is game 2. We're going to have 5 games today total, and then tomorrow we're going to have 7 games, just to give you guys, the audience out there, an opportunity to watch the wild card for NA East. It's going to go down. It's going to be awesome. We still have a lot of FNCS trios competition here. Now, that was just a minor slip-up. That's what's the scary part about this all. And I was hoping that the in-game leadership of Kinzel, I think that right there shows the strength of it. And also it shows when you are basically solo superstars coming together, there's going to be a little bit of moments of making slip-ups. There's going to be a little of those moments where you make mistakes. The question is, can they survive those mistakes? And it looks like Kinzel Wolfies, they have for that brief moment. But here is your pick, Nekos, Floki, and Clement, who had a strong showing here in Game 1, Sundown.
You know, the more and more I think about it, the happier I am with this pick. I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of behind-the-scenes insight into this. I'm a huge Thomas HD, like as an individual fan, but I've been watching a lot of Flick and Anas as well. There were 2 of my trio predictions, both for the top of heats yesterday, which was correct, and in one of the qualifier rounds where they had a pretty solid performance. I straight up called Shy Wager a snake when he stole that pick from me. He was the one who was able to pick right before me. I was really upset about it. And then I was going through, I was like, man, I don't really know like which one of these picks are going to end up going through. And then I ended up looking, and I'm like, wow, really? Nobody picked Floki, Clement, and Nekos? Nobody picked the 6 times FNCS qualifier, the only one out of Europe? And the fact that these guys played so incredibly well, not only in the heats yesterday, but in heat number 2 specifically, which tends to be the lucky number for Europe. So it's like, yeah, I'm going to ride this train. And the 3rd place coming out from them in the number of victory royales has kind of put them just at that lower threshold of the top 3 right now, sitting there with 23 points. So a good performance out of them above Storm Surge. But again, we saw them get bogged down on the edge of the zone last time. Here's Wolfies, CRR, and Kinzel in a fight right now with Kira, Naraxin, and Karma, aka M10 Sniper God. And they're just going to try and disengage out of it, as there's like 4 teams on the edge of the zone right now.
Yeah, the slow rotation, you figure that no one would be here, but everybody's thinking like mine as CRR gets knocked in the feet. So that box fighting little arena in the dam area is kind of not working out for CRR as Kinzel. I think Kinzel moved into zone, realizing like, hey, let me get here and solidify my spot. I could kind of go and move on if I need to. Wolfie's going to go back and get the res, but look at all the congestion, and you're looking a little bit north. All it takes is a couple of shots, and opportunists arise. And the train hard trio of Skype, Falconry, Yaxo. Thank you so much, Falconry and Yaxo. Thank you. I appreciate you changing your name, my guy, because we want to give you as much premium gas as possible. And if you pop off in the grand finals, you deserve the shine. As he gets the shine down on Wolfies and Skype, that's going to be a big pickup right there, and some nice refreshing loot.
You can see the shine down is coming through, just brilliant, cleaning it up there. 2 eliminations, all the loot, and plenty. I mean, just huge upgrades coming through there. Now, double legendary weaponry, shockwaves, more than enough minis, still has the harpoon for the late game play making potential. Actually going to opt to drop that for some crash pads. So good decision there, but we talked about it. We saw, right? Like everyone there, just as a viewer, this is a moment here for a competitive Fortnite experience. They won the last game. That is one of the best teams in Europe. They had priority positioning on zone. They had plenty of Storm Surge. They could have taken their car and gone center. Instead, went up towards that first shot that ended up being taken towards them. Now, out of the lobby, no placement points, no eliminations. They're going to watch as the rest of Europe gets to now close the lead and close up the leaderboard, as Rojo gargling a little bit there on the side, but he finds a huge down on Deceptos. That means Hen and Patrick are going to have to clutch up real quick in a 3v2 here.
Rojo's trio, the wild card, had a great performance in game 1, actually, coming him into 13th place. Okay, Sundown gets a smirk on his face. Okay, Sundown, okay.
That was sick, taking a page right out of Mongrel's book. Shockwave from way above. There's no way for the player to end up hearing you come in just because the sound ends up originating at the initial place. So Rojo getting a great flank over on the side, turns around, nice little 180 bop bop. That's a drop, and all the loot on the ground. The wild card Victor pushing forward here and showing why he is one of the strongest players in Europe. His performance in the World Cup, second place there with Wolfies on the other side of it. But now we're going to pan over and get a look at the rest of the lobby, get a look at the lay of the land, see who's boxed up where, who is the priority positioning. And right now you can see kind of Smudge & Co. and Mongrel & Co. have kind of the two semi-heights. Eyedrop and Vettel having center priority, then Thomas, HD, and Flick a little bit below them. Floki, Nakos, and Clement over in the main building at Slurpee.
These are the moments that you want to keep an eye on. I love these flyovers. It lets us know like who is kind of get the position for the high ground, and eventually, we kind of see the trio that kind of comes out on top. And all these trios are essentially setting up outside the edges of the safe zone. Because if zone pulls on front of them for the half in, half out, we saw how dominant it can be. The very dominant trio in Nas, Flick, and Thomas HD. They were able to capitalize on that. And when fortune favors you, you're going to have to capitalize. We're still in zone 4, so not yet got to that point. And people will make the rotations. And the crazy kind of endings here and Weeping Ones that we've been seeing historically throughout the FNCS competitive scene, sight lines are going to be erased by these trees.
Yeah, and more importantly, too, because of those sightlines, a lot of people don't like to dip in there in case you have to come back out. It's a little bit of a valley. There's a little bit of kind of an area you don't really want to be pushing yourselves into. You want to stay more towards the main building. However, the zone's not giving you that option. So everyone is going to be cramming in around this outside, and you can already see in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen how there's going to be a natural congestion along the entirety of the east point of that white line. Everyone is going to be packing in there, hoping they pull the 50-50 zone. That's zone number 5. We're transitioning now from the kind of the mid-game into the beginning of that end game in the half-in, half-outs, and that's where the action really gets spicy.
And that is where we see placement parts really start to begin in zone 6 to 7. We're really close to that. About 5 trios need to drop. And actually, I drop 7 gets knocked right there by Kira. And I drop in the trio and co of Vettel and Stursix have unable to find their footing just yet. We've seen them being consistent throughout the heats and qualifiers, and right now stumbling in the moment in the opening frames here of the grand finals. And we're taking a look here. We've got trees on fire. Things are heating up. Mongrel, Tayson, and Mitro have yet to kind of pop off yet. We know they have it in them. They came into this match in 9th place with 14 points and 3 limbs. So a lot of bulk of the work coming in from placement. And that is all thanks to Mongrel, who was able to hold on tight, snuck his way in, ratted his way in, however you want to say it, snake his way in. Middle geared his way in as much as possible and was able to walk away and gets a knock as well. We've seen it time and time again. The beams and the aim with the AR of this trio, providing them to get those easy E-limbs and points.
And that 5th zone coming out right now, and you can
Thomas.
see pulling to the south and west. But Thomas, no, that's not. It's coming through. It's Thomas who was able to capitalize on the Mitro getting knocked, but it was Seti who gave him a little bit of a gap. To me, that indicates Thomas snuck a sniper bullet in there right as Seti ended up coming through. Mitro being the one who caught that with his teeth, but fortunately, no follow-up coming over. Again, I thought it was Thomas right away, but then I saw the knock come on to Seti, so it was that snipe that he's so vaunted for, just going to eat them through a little bit of the resources. However, getting chunk splashes away and forcing them to burn that, and a little bit of a misuse in terms of utility there, ended up losing 10 shields, so not necessarily value there. You can see a Nos getting knocked. That'll turn off our Storm Surges. He's going to end up getting picked up almost into our placement points now as we have our top 18 trios. Percolino going down there right now, but we're on board here with Mitro, who's just looking for some angles.
And Mitro trying to do his best to get back to his trio as the shockwaves spread them all about, and they pulled max pull right there. But you're showing it that, yes, as a trio, you work together hip to hip, but there's going to be moments that you're going to work as a solo, and Mitro showing that true and getting a nice elim point right there before he's going to connect, and they're going to have a strong opportunity now sitting at second height as you see the train hard trio of a Sky, Yaxo, and Falconry sitting up there, so they have the advantage there. But we've seen it time and time again, the shockwave play and how dangerous it can be if you're second height. You just gotta break the focus from height. And now we're gonna take a look at the trio that loves to be down low, and they pick up a big elim, a big knock on Lunef, and the triple beams is going through, and they get in some white tags. It's being informed and noticed that Vettel, Eyedrop, and Starsis are gonna get a big trio out of this competition.
And they're huge in terms of playing hip to hip in the low ground, very similar to kind of how the XSET crew plays over in NA East if you watch those matches. But what I saw in the top left was our #1 team going down. Flick getting cleaned up there. We have 17 trios remaining and going on. I think that was the full wipe going through, but now we've seen the zone has pulled back, and currently our low ground team does have a decent amount of priority. You can see Savage and Benji over on the side, but we're going to hop back on in with the monsters themselves. It's Halloween. They got the masks on. They're ready to go hunting. Shockwave or Bouncer Crashpad combo will come out. They're going to go for the high ground take. That's Mongo, Mitchell, and Taysom with plenty of positioning now over the rest of the lobby.
And we talked about maintaining height, and anytime you win, if someone tries to push you, to overtake you, and if you win that, you get all of their resources, and that allows you to maintain and hold on. Here he goes, Mongrel going in, Mongrel with the bop, Mongrel with the knock, falconry down he goes, and that's going to give them the open door and the opportunity to take height and the possibility to walk away with that victory royale. It's a matter of time, and we're seeing what Mongrel, Taysom, and Mitchell are at height. The beams ring true, and the headshot multipliers getting so many knocks. This could be the pop-off game that we're waiting for. This could be a strong opportunity for Mingo, Mancho, and Tayson to kind of overtake everybody and be on top of the board.
And just massive. We talked about kind of the Mongrel classic, him flying through the air and finding that massive pump shot, and he was able to do it. But now you can see kind of a little bit of the resource management coming through right now, making sure you get the pepper pot onto the correct players, getting the heals where you need it, getting the weaponry in the right spot. Alpha gonna hit the bouncer, get a little bit ahead. They're trying to get to the front of zone, but you can hear the shield and the health breaking behind. Blaster takes nearly all of his HP. Alpha trying to work for it and back in the box to help his teammate, but unfortunately he's going to go down. It's going to be all on the back of Nikov and Alpha here on the side, but he has the legendary burst as well as the legendary pump, so if he's able to find shots, he can make some plays. Has the gauntlets as well, and straight into the box with the Clay Classic, using the harpoon and the insta break on the fresh wood to find a much needed refresher. Top 10 trios now, 7 place of points have gone out, and a great angled pump shot there to find Yaxo. It just peeks his head over the top, and he gets slammed back down like a whack-a-mole as we have our top 20, and Alpha and Nikov continue to run on the low ground with their 7th elimination there.
This Alpha trio just barely got into the dance with an unbelievable push to the top 8 in their heat. They're making a push right now in game 2, but taking a look at height, it is Tayson, Mitchell, and Mongrel. When Floki went to contest, so we gotta take a look here as Floki is contesting, and Mongrel actually stops that, but Alpha's not stopping. He drops, I drop 7. Alpha, Blaster, Nikov racking up points on the low ground, but it's a story of height. It's going to be a battle between them, but we're not there yet because, wait a minute, Battle comes in and gets a knock, but Alpha trades that out. I drop goes down, and Alpha still on his lower, but the chaos is too much for Alpha, and down he goes. Mongrel has picked up another elim. Mongrel is up there on height as Nakos go down, Clement and Floki go down. So many big names are going down back to back to back, but it's Tayson and his trio at height.
And who's not going down on the high ground is the Stark Indices trio right there. You can see crash pads going out on the backside of the builds to break them and force whoever up into the air, into the shooting gallery where they can get swatted down. Currently sitting on 7 eliminations and just trying to finish this one out. Game number 2 in Europe is going to go to Tayson, Mongrel, and Mitro. It is just a matter of time. Duck on top tries to make a play. Exqueeze gets swatted down. Andalix gets swatted down. Last player out in the zone. He's tagged out. They find the elimination 2. That's Janice cleaned up there. 10 eliminations in the victory royale coming through. That's a 35-point game from one of the scariest trios in Europe.
It is Halloween, and the big monsters have made their first appearance. We're going to take it to Zeke, Shio, and Reese to break it all down.